Since I was young, my mom taught me that women out there are endless. If they cheat, just replace them immediately. So when I saw the girlfriend I dated for 3 years, holding an umbrella for another man in the rain, right when she thought she had hidden it perfectly, I didn't say a word and calmly took a photo. I directly leaked the video of her and her junior naked under the umbrella, kissing in the rain across the entire Jingda campus. As soon as the news broke, comments from our mutual friends immediately flooded the entire screen. I wasn't surprised at all by how panicked they were, because everyone knows how Xiao Jia used to be so deeply in love with me. She pursued me for 2.5 years, clinging to me and confessing a total of 88 times, before I reluctantly nodded and agreed. I stared at the newsfeed, suddenly feeling that her complete love seemed to have been split in half, one half for me, the other half secretly given to someone else. I didn't go find her for a confrontation, and definitely didn't play out some heartbreak script. I just quietly deleted all social media accounts, packed up my luggage, and decisively left our place, without looking back even once. Early the next morning, Xiao Jia received a call from her best friend. Xiao Jia, has your brain been kicked by a donkey? Hearing that, Xiao Jia was stunned for a moment, but her friend didn't give her time to think and directly started scolding her. Shen Man is such a good person, yet you didn't cherish him. You even went and messed around with another man. What on earth did he do wrong to you to make you disgust him to this extent? Xiao Jia was scolded by her best friend, losing face completely, before she sharply realized the main point of the words. She suddenly stood up abruptly. What do you mean, make it clear? I'm asking you, where are you right now? Xiao Jia was about to answer, when she suddenly remembered she was still at the hospital with Lu Li, so the words she intended to say got stuck in her throat, and her best friend clearly knew why she didn't answer. Seeing that, her anger flared up even more. You're still at the hospital at this hour. You're by that Lu Li guy's side, aren't you? Do you even know that on the school forum? The photos and videos of you two have spread everywhere already. Hearing these words, Xiao Jia's mind felt like it was about to explode. Only now did she suddenly remember she had an appointment last night. It's just that after taking Lu Li to the hospital, she was so busy that she completely forgot. So what about Shen Man? Did he wait for me at the bakery all night? Most importantly, Shen Man. What will he think when he sees those photos? She frantically hung up the phone, then saw countless missed calls, and all of them were from me. At this very moment, Xiao Jia instinctively clutched her chest in pain. She hurriedly opened our chat box. After seeing the message where I asked to meet, she intended to call back to explain to me. But right at that moment, her hand was held tight by Lu Li next to her. Sister Jia, can you stay here with me? Xiao Jia didn't say a word and coldly brushed Lu Li's hand away. At this point, logic told Xiao Jia that if he didn't show up on time at the location I had sent, I would be very angry. But thinking back to the scene years ago, when he saved her from the fire, Xiao Jia's anxious heart gradually calmed back down. No way, he loves me so deeply. He'd even brave a sea of fire for me. How could he give up on me over this? Time passed bit by bit. I looked at the empty seat in front of me. 10 minutes, then another 10 minutes. Xiao Jia still didn't show up. And by now, compared to the time we agreed on, an hour had already passed. A bit disappointed, but not entirely too disappointed. Originally, I wanted to say goodbye in person. It's just a shame some people don't want to end on good terms, I thought as I bowed my head. Post the pre-written content to my social circle. A few minutes later, the Jingda University forum exploded once again, because someone screenshotted my social circle post with the caption, happily single. I didn't even care about the buzzing forum and drove straight to the airport. At the airport, I told the driver to take the car back to the villa. After informing Aunt Zhao about my itinerary, I turned off my phone and boarded the plane. 3 hours after I boarded, Xiao Jia finally left the hospital. However, what she didn't expect was to see the news of my single status declaration. She couldn't believe it, so she clicked on my social circle profile, but what hit her eyes was just a single horizontal line. Seeing that, Xiao Jia froze on the spot. She couldn't help but suspect I had blocked her or deleted her from my friend list. Thinking this, she frantically tried to call me. But on the other end of the line, there were only cold mechanical ringing tones. Time after time, Xiao Jia didn't realize what kind of situation she was currently in. She only felt that at the moment. She couldn't contact me. The world seemed to turn upside down. Everything before her eyes suddenly turned gray. While clinging to a final ray of hope, she finally rushed to the address I had sent. Xiao Jia looked around desperately, hoping to see my figure, but among the bustling crowd passing by, only I was nowhere to be found. This cafe was specially opened by Xiao Jia. For me, this was also our most frequent dating spot. She stared intently at the familiar place before her, imagining that at every single table, there were shadows of her and me, engaged in deep conversation with radiant smiles on our faces. But in the blink of an eye, the illusion before her vanished. Xiao Jia found the shop staff, trying to act calm while asking where I went. Young Master Shen sat here for 2 hours and just left. He didn't order anything at all. When did he leave? Let me remember. I think it was around 10:30. thinking about this timeline. Xiao Jia looked down at her phone. At the lines of messages on it, we agreed to meet at the cafe at 9:30, but now it's already 2 p.m. After I arrived on time for the date, I even waited for her for another hour. During that 1 hour, what was Shenman thinking? How did he make up his mind? When she didn't show up for a whole hour, and he didn't even make a move to contact her. Though she really didn't want to admit it at this moment, Xiao Jia's overconfidence has completely crumbled. She began to realize that I'm currently actually very angry by Shenman doing this. Could it be that he doesn't need me anymore? As soon as this speculation appeared, Xiao Jia couldn't help but feel her nose sting. Both of her hands uncontrollably trembled. Like a soulless corpse, she returned to the car. Her trembling hands kept calling my phone number, not knowing how much time had passed. The other phone placed on the passenger seat of Xiao Jia was also vibrating. Probably Luli couldn't reach her on this number, so he called her secondary number. But Xiao Jia had absolutely no intention of answering. Her chest tightened. Her head throbbed like it was being hit by a hammer. Her eyes blurred with tears. Even blinking became extremely difficult. Her mind went completely blank. Xiao Jia wanted to drive to Shenman's house to find me, but realized the hands holding the steering wheel had no strength left at all. While Xiao Jia was still in a daze for a few seconds, her best friend's phone call came in. Xiao Jia hurriedly picked up. The first sentence she blurted out was, "Help me." On the other end of the line, the best friend was stunned and then sighed softly. After reporting her location to her best friend, Xiao Jia finally felt like she found a place to vent her feelings. She painfully muttered, "I can't get in touch with Shenman. I didn't know things would turn out like this. He must be really upset. That's why he doesn't want to care about me anymore. It's not that you didn't know. It's just that you were too greedy, Xiao Jia. If it weren't for the sake of us growing up together since we were kids, then with this kind of behavior of yours, I would look down on you too." Her best friend's words were harsh, but Xiao Jia didn't refute them at all. She kept her head buried low. She was also questioning herself, why she did something so wrong to me. When did it all start anyway? It seems like, even though I'm someone everyone looks up to, the perfect child in everyone's praise, she was the most special existence in my eyes. No matter when, no matter where, as long as she was there, my gaze would always stop on her. No matter the time, as long as she needed me, I would appear by her side, without any hesitation. I never got angry or made any demands, just endured every hardship like that always. A sharp version of me in the eyes of others, had no rough edges at all in front of her. So when Li appeared with a completely different personality, Xiao Jia began to get distracted. Compared to someone with no desires like me, Li was truly too easy to satisfy. With just a small favor from her, Li could be happy for an entire month. This strange sense of accomplishment made her stop. Rejecting Li's intentional advances, she began to have a change of heart, began to lie, began to spend more time on Li. Tell me, what did I do wrong? Xiao Jia had never, until this moment, realized her own meanness and humiliation. She leaned tiredly against the driver's seat, waiting until her best friend rushed over. What she saw was exactly this half-dead state of Xiao Jia, smelling the disinfectant on her body. The best friend covered her nose in disgust. "Don't tell me. You plan on wearing these filthy clothes to see Shenman?" Hearing her best friend's voice, Xiao Jia snapped out of it. A moment later, she forced a faint smile. "Let me freshen up before I go find him." Seeing her like this, the friend didn't know what else to say. Took her to a hotel to shower and fix herself up. Then they rushed toward my house. However, the two of them stood in front of my door for half an hour. Without seeing anyone come out, Xiao Jia had no choice but to step forward anxiously, using her fingerprint to unlock the door. The moment her fingers touched it, she received a recognition failed notification. Hearing that mechanical sound, Xiao Jia immediately stood frozen on the spot. She still wasn't satisfied and wanted to try again. But then Aunt Zhao's voice suddenly rang out from behind. "Miss Xiao." "Aunt Zhao, I'm here to find Shenman. I know the young master has gone traveling. He won't be home during this time. As for when he'll return, I'm not sure either. Tomorrow I'm also going abroad for a trip. In the future, you don't need to come here anymore." Seeing Aunt Zhao finish speaking and about to enter the house, Xiao Jia hurriedly stopped her. "Aunt Zhao, could you please help me call Shenman? I have something I want to tell him. I'm sorry, but this is the young master's wish. I can't help you with anything." "Miss Xiao, you and the young master have known each other for years. You surely understand his temperament. Ask your own heart what you have done to make my young master act this heartlessly. Furthermore, my young master from childhood to adulthood has never had to suffer any grievances. You are the first person to make the young master so angry that he burst into tears. I hope you won't regret this in the future." Xiao Jia's throat felt like it was blocked by something. For a long time, she couldn't utter a single word. As for Aunt Zhao's question, she couldn't answer it, and she didn't have the face to answer. The door in front of her closed once again. Xiao Jia's red-rimmed eyes finally overflowed with tears. Her hands clenched until they were pale. Her whole body swayed like she was about to collapse. The best friend took in that entire sight and could only end up sighing. Both she and Xiao Jia understood clearly that they definitely couldn't see me today. As for the future, Xiao Jia didn't even dare to think about it. At the same time, on the other side, after the plane landed at the international airport in Hong Kong, I happened to run into a fat-bellied man who was pestering a girl, clearly wanting to get her contact info, and after being rejected, he intentionally touched her body, then directly slandered the girl as a gold digger. Everyone around just stood there watching. The drama was an eyesore, so I stepped in to help. But before I could even say a few words, that man flew into a rage and started a scene. I didn't hold back and directly made a move. Not long after, airport security personnel rushed over and surrounded us tightly. At the same time, in the VIP lounge not far away, a few people had witnessed the whole thing. This young man has a really sharp tongue, truly very impressive. It's just that there's going to be some trouble now. Getting into a fight right at Hong Kong airport. This isn't exactly a small matter. If that man who got beaten up clings to this, I'm afraid he'll have to sit in the station for a few days. Are you planning to play the beauty saving the hero? Don't worry, he won't need it. Hearing that Jia Yueyao was about to say something, when she saw me not far away making a phone call, then the security captain picked up his walkie-talkie, said something, and respectfully made way for me. After I left, they took the guy kneeling on the ground, that man who was in too much pain to get up, and dragged him away. Sister Han, how did you know he would be okay? When that guy got off the plane, he was personally escorted out by the flight crew to be held in such high regard by the staff. Doesn't just mean he has money, but surely he has another status as well, outside the airport, because the girls were so enthusiastic and insisted on inviting me to dinner. I couldn't easily refuse. By the time I finished checking into the hotel, it was already 8 p.m. Looking at the phone battery draining rapidly due to too many continuous calls, I frowned in disgust. Then while charging the battery, I called my parents to let them know I was safe. The following day, my parents told me to inform my sister Shen Qingyue of my hotel address so she could send some things over to me. After I hung up, looking at the series of numbers calling again, I clicked my tongue in annoyance, though it was a strange number. I didn't even need to use my brain to know who was calling. Just as Xiao Jia on the other end of the line thought I wouldn't pick up this call either. The phone actually connected. Looking at the screen showing the active call, Xiao Jia's heart skipped a beat. Are you okay? Less than a day had passed, but right now Xiao Jia didn't even look human anymore. Bloodshot eyes with dark circles. Her whole body looked haggard, without a single trace of vitality. I couldn't see it, and even if I did, I wouldn't care. The great Miss Xiao, don't you get tired. Over 99 missed calls. If the phone's quality wasn't good enough, I'm afraid my device would have crashed already. Where are you? I'll come find you. Can we meet and talk things out clearly? What do you plan on saying to me? Talk about how you were secretly seeing Lu Li behind my back, or talk about how thrilling your secret affair was, or do you plan to say that even if you cheated, I'm still the one you love the most? Xiao Jia, your apology isn't worth a single cent to me. It's not like that. Shenman, between me and Lu Li, nothing crossed the line at all. At most, it was just that umbrella. Besides that, there was nothing else. I already rejected him directly. Give me a chance, please. She choked up, trying to find a way to save it since losing contact with me yesterday. Xiao Jia felt her world was completely empty. In her mind, there was only one single thought. The one who can't leave is actually her. Only by finding me does everything around her have a reason to exist. So she frantically tried to contact me, but she didn't expect to only receive a "you're nothing" response from me before Xiao Jia could say another word. From the phone, there were only long, hopeless dial tones. She instinctively pressed redial, but discovered I had already blacklisted this phone number, so she had to use another number to call. I looked at the phone ringing again, thinking about the promise I made to my parents, so I patiently didn't turn it off. Thus, the first thing I did after heading out was going to a mobile service store to get a brand new SIM card. Then I sent the new number to my parents and temporarily locked that old SIM card. Only then did I follow the map's directions to the entrance of the bar. The bar, a few minutes later, Zhang Yueyao followed beside her brother, walking toward me. At that time, I was sitting on a high stool at the bar counter, playing with my phone. She looked up, yawned, then suddenly stopped in her tracks, widening her eyes. Could it be such a coincidence? Zhang Yueyao's heart pounded wildly. Then she approached my side. I'm the manager of this bar? Handsome, what can I do for you? That sofa area right by the coast, I'm booking the whole thing. After entering the bar, I finally discovered that the end of this cobblestone street was actually the coastline. Sitting in that spot, one can take in the entire coastal scenery at a glance. I have a bit of a quirky temperament, which is liking to find peace in the middle of a crowd. Zhang Yueyao looked where I was pointing, toward the west side of the bar. Then she burst out laughing. You're being a bit too bossy. That's the area with the best view in the bar. You want to take it all for yourself. If it weren't for the fact that you're handsome enough, I'd almost want to kick you out. I glanced at her, only for a card to appear as if by a magic trick. There's money, do you want to earn it or not? Zhang Yueyao, stared intently at the card in my hand. Immediately after she grinned so wide her eyes narrowed, took the card and handed it to the waiter behind her. Only then did she ask how many seats I wanted. Everything within 10 meters. Zhang Yueyao decisively agreed and gave a signal with her eyes. Immediately someone went to clear the tables. Not long after someone came over to lead me to the floor-to-ceiling window. Sis, why did you agree to his request? Our bar isn't short on money. Hearing that, Zhang Yueyao glanced at him, thinking back to when I was at the airport, and how a certain woman couldn't take her eyes off me. She cryptically replied, I'm afraid someone would scold me. Once she had walked away, the young man who just asked finally realized. What did Zhang Yueyao just say? Zhang Yueyao didn't care what the people in the bar thought at all. She hurried into the elevator to the second floor. Then, without a break, she rushed straight into the private room. Guess who I just met downstairs? But the moment she opened the door and walked in, the two people in their private room had already fallen asleep. Seeing that, she curled her lip, yawned, and then closed her eyes to sleep as well. Half an hour later, Leng Yue finally tapped him awake. To go downstairs and grab a bite, Zhang Yueyao yawned while drowsily following the two of them out. The moment they stepped out of the private room, Zhang Yueyao suddenly snapped awake. Just as she was about to speak, she saw Guing Han standing in front, looking down at the floor below, realizing where her gaze was fixed. Zhang Yueyao tapped her forehead. Sister Han, I forgot to tell you that the area over there is surrounded by those guys. The counter where they usually sit and eat is also within the 10-meter radius of my spot. 1/3 of the customers in the main hall are all lining up in front of my place. Those not in line are also focusing all their attention over there. Even among the guys, many came to watch the excitement. As for me, I don't turn anyone away. As long as they're willing to wait in line, as long as their looks and physique are decent, anyone can sit opposite and play with me. One win, and they can add me as a friend. But if they lose, they take a lap around the beach. Right as they were standing there, two more girls ran outside. Noticing what Shen Man was doing, Zhang Yueyao was beyond speechless. This guy really knows how to have fun. Leng Yue didn't offer any comment. On the contrary, Guing Han withdrew her gaze and walked toward the elevator. For some reason, Zhang Yueyao suddenly felt a bit chilly. She intentionally nudged Leng Yue. Do you feel like something's wrong? Your brain is what's wrong, selling off even the dining area. You might as well just donate your brain. Guing Han doesn't like the smell of food in the private room, so they decided to dine on the first floor. Zhang Yueyao clearly knew why Leng Yue was angry and hurriedly chased after her to beg for mercy. Let me go negotiate with him to borrow a table for us to eat. Zhang Yueyao, not caring at all about Leng Yue's coldness. As soon as she hit the floor, she made a beeline for me, said hello, and sat down right in front of me. Free drinks today, in exchange for borrowing a table for us to eat. Will I get a nod of approval? Xiang Yue. Yao immediately walked over to the bench right next to me, waving her hand to call Guing Han and Leng Yue. Leng Yue lowered her voice and muttered. After all, she's the owner of this shop, and yet to have a meal, she has to borrow a spot from a customer. This is all the karma Zhang Yueyao created. On the contrary, Guing Han seemed completely unaffected. She withdrew her gaze from my direction, then stepped forward and sat down next to Zhang Yueyao while waiting for the food to be served. Zhang Yueyao leaned close to the sofa on my side, observing me and the people coming to chat. The dice playing time just passed by second by second. Not many people were left in front of me. Not a single person could beat me. Seeing that, I let out a yawn and stood up about to leave. Zhang Yueyao was stunned when she saw my actions. Immediately after, she hurriedly spoke up. Are you leaving? Is it because it's too boring? How about you consider playing with us? Sister Qing Han's ice shaking skills are top tier. I stopped and tilted my head to look over. My gaze landed on the woman who was looking down playing with her phone. Honestly speaking, among all the women I've ever met, she's the one who catches my eye the most. Seeming to notice my gaze, Guing Han, who was looking at her phone, looked up. Our eyes met. I nonchalantly nodded at her, then walked up right in front of her. Want to play? Hearing that, Guing Han let out a soft chuckle, clearly knowing but still asking, play what? My side was so noisy. Could she really not have noticed it's possible? After all, she was busy playing on her phone, thinking that I lost interest as well. Anyway, it was only because I saw her looking at me that I took the chance to walk over. If they're not interested, then so be it. I decided not to play anymore. I gave an apologetic smile. Sorry for disturbing you, I said as I turned to leave. Guing Han watched my back as I walked away, suddenly feeling an indescribable sensation in her heart. The word play was uttered. I heard it, but I still pretended not to hear. But Zhang Yueyao didn't want to let me go like that. She hurriedly rushed to block me, speaking frantically. Play, we have to play. My sister Han said she'll play. I'm not playing with her. What about playing with you? Hearing that, Zhang Yueyao was suddenly stunned. But in the next second, she noticed Guing Han's gaze, immediately reacted and shook her head vigorously. I don't know how to play. You play with my sister Han. My sister Han is really good at it. Her mouth spoke words of praise, but her eyes were full of pleading. Only heaven knows that, Guing Han. rarely looks at anyone more than a few times like this. If she ruined this because of herself, then Zhang Yueyao's big brothers would definitely skin her alive. Even though it was our first meeting, I quickly understood her meaning. I didn't really like it, so I intended to tactfully decline. But she didn't want to joke with me. How could that be? Just playing hard to get. Understand, I instinctively burst out laughing, turning my head to look at Guing Han, seeing her stiffen up because of that remark, yet still trying to brace herself and act like nothing happened. I immediately laughed even more wantonly, sitting down in front of the opponent. Once again, I shook the dice cup on the table. How are we playing? Guing Han leaned forward slightly. Best of 3. Let's go by your rules. Loser goes outside for a lap. If I win, I get your contact info deal. That works. Guing Han didn't fuss. As long as I get to decide, you go first. Guing Han didn't refuse anymore. She just took the dice cup, casually shook it 2 or 3 times on the table, then stopped and made a gesture inviting me. I also just shook a few times and set it down, but the result was exactly as Zhang Yueyao said. Even though I rolled 3 ones every round, Guing Han actually stacked all 3 dice on top of each other, showing only a single one. I had no choice but to accept defeat, immediately standing up to go outside for a lap. Seeing me move, Guing Han gave a wink. Zhang Yueyao suddenly realized and stopped me again. Wait, handsome, hold on. What's up? Are you ladies being that kind? Don't want me to go out and run? Of course not. We won. We want to ask for your contact info. Hearing that, I couldn't play dumb anymore and had to obediently take out my phone. After exchanging info with Guing Han, Zhang Yueyao also squeezed in for the fun. I want to be friends too, though my dice skills are definitely not as good as yours. How about this? When you come here in the future, everything's on the house. How about you just treat me to a meal instead? Zhang Yueyao's personality is easy to guess. She really knows her food. Following her, I won't have to worry about picking a bad spot. Hearing that, Zhang Yueyao hurriedly scanned the code. Then it's a deal. My name is Zhang Yueyao. By the way, are you in Hong Kong for a trip? For now, let's just say so. If anything comes up, just message me. I have to go back and rest now. See you later. After speaking without waiting for Zhang Yueyao to stop me, I took a step and walked out of the bar first. A few minutes later, seeing Guing Han's pensive look, Leng Yue couldn't help but ask, "What's wrong, Sister Han? Are you interested in him?" Guing Han rubbed her slightly aching temples and let out a sigh. "But he doesn't have a shred of interest in you." Leng Yue didn't think that was right. Glancing over at Zhang Yueyao, it seems like he was actually more enthusiastic toward Zhang Yueyao than you. But these words startled Zhang Yueyao, who was currently scrolling through my social circle. Wait, really? How is that possible? But thinking back to the scene just now, it actually seems to be true. Shen Man treated me even better than Guing Han. While speaking, she held the phone out in front of Guing Han. Look, he just recently broke up. Looking at his social circle, it shows it only happened 2 days ago. Hearing that, Leng Yue had an unbelievable look as she leaned in close. What? No way. Is there really someone that blind in this world? Even though my personality and looks aren't exactly his type, he still wouldn't go against his conscience and say that I'm not good looking. It's just that when she saw the content in my social circle, she also fell into a rare moment of silence. There really is someone that blind. Zhang Yueyao frowned and began to analyze. So Shen Man came to Hong Kong to heal his broken heart. Then that's great. Sister Han, hurry up and take this chance to move in. Seeing Yueyao looking so excited, Guing Han couldn't help but doubt herself. Was I really showing it that clearly? It wasn't obvious. It's just that from the first sight, when you saw Shen Man yesterday, you couldn't even take your eyes off him. Plus yesterday at the airport, you said he didn't need our help. But in the end, you still contacted the airport manager to make things easier for him. Guing Han said those words, clearly having just sent a message to someone. Zhang Yueyao sharp-sightedly caught a glimpse of the message she had just sent. If Guing Han's actions yesterday could still be seen as a momentary act of kindness, then her actions today were truly beyond both of their expectations. That's why Zhang Yueyao suggested borrowing my spot and joined in so Guing Han and I could play dice. Guing Han didn't refuse at all, which proved her prediction wasn't wrong. Looking at the two of them winking in front of her, Guing Han helplessly shook her head without denying it. Guing Han had never been in love, but she knew full well that her feelings for me were absolutely not simply just wanting to be ordinary friends. Her racing heartbeat and burning warmth were all reminding her that these were experiences she'd never had before. Thinking about silently calling my name in her heart, days before the teasing eyes of Zhang Yueyao and Leng Yue, her ears turned bright red. Finally, she spoke up to lay down the law. "Don't go bothering him." Zhang Yueyao and Leng Yue looked at each other and nodded. In my impression, Leng Yue knew this romance needed to happen naturally. As for Zhang, Yueyao felt that as long as she didn't mention Guing Han, then her asking me out to hang out wouldn't count as violating Guing Han's request. On the other hand, since I left the bar I noticed in the shadows, quite a few eyes were watching me. The strange thing was, before I could even do anything, Those eyes completely vanished into thin air. I walked around a few more laps. After confirming the one secretly following me had truly disappeared entirely, I caught a ride back to the hotel. After a quick wash-up, I took my phone out to the hotel balcony. I lay on the lounge chair and started replying to messages. Seeing me back online, my best friend immediately sent several question marks. Then started telling me about the things that happened on the school forum today. The photos and videos of Xiao Jia and Luli have all disappeared. He guessed that Xiao Jia hired someone to do it. Besides that, my friend sent over another photo. Xiao Jia posted on the school's internal network, saying that the situation with Luli was just a misunderstanding. The relationship between us is still stable, no breakup happened. I see that many people actually believed it. The two of us are childhood sweethearts who grew up together and have been dating for several years. Plus our looks and abilities are a perfect match. So in the eyes of the students at Jingda, the two of us are the textbook definition of a couple made in heaven. After those photos, in my social circle were leaked. Many people didn't believe it that day. They thought someone intentionally photoshopped them to purposely break us up. Today, Xiao Jia posted a statement like that, making even more people believe that. I and Xiao Jia haven't broken up yet. Clicking on the image my friend sent, it was a screenshot of Xiao Jia's clarification post. The content was thanking everyone for their concern. But I and Shenman are still doing very well. As for those photos from 2 days ago, that was just an act of helping out when seeing an injustice. I hope everyone won't maliciously spread related images and videos. Otherwise, I will take legal measures to protect my personal rights. A very concise statement with sharp wording that left people with nothing to criticize. I let out a cold smirk. After replying a few words to my best friend, I immediately opened the school's internal network forum. Because it was trending, Xiao Jia's post was still at the very top. I didn't even have to search to find it. I immediately tapped into the comment section, directly typing out a single line. I am currently single. The stable relationship with Xiao Jia is entirely a rumor created by Xiao Jia alone. As for those images and videos of Xiao Jia and Luli hugging romantically in the rain, were actually leaked by me personally, politely wishing you to stay locked together forever. After replying to that message, I thought to myself, if Xiao Jia wants to discuss me this badly, then I don't need to be polite anymore. So I copied that exact message and reposted it once more on my personal page, conveniently tagging both Xiao Jia and Luli. Having finished all of this, I felt incredibly refreshed. I looked at my phone for a bit, then went back to bed. At the same time, when Xiao Jia saw my response, her face darkened, looking extremely ugly. She immediately opened the private DM section on the school's internal network. Shenman, where are you? Do you really have to be this cold-hearted? For the sake of our many years of feelings, please give me a chance to explain everything to you, okay? After waiting a long time, Xiao Jia still didn't receive a reply from me. She leaned against the sofa exhausted and in pain. Grabbing a glass of wine from the table and draining it, she messaged me again. It's okay if we don't meet in person. About the situation with Luli, can I explain it to you right now? I just wanted you to care about me a little bit more. That guy and I only had that umbrella incident that day. Shenman, I only love you. I never thought about breaking up with you. Don't be so heartless and abandon me, okay? After sending this message, Xiao Jia slid off the sofa and collapsed onto the carpet. She didn't know what kind of power had intervened. But the bottom line is that right now, she completely cannot track down my location. Just like that. I didn't give her a single chance to catch her breath, disappearing from her life just like that. Xiao Jia was constantly drowned in misery, only able to reread our old messages, hoping that in the next second she'd get a reply from me. She thought even if I scolded or beat her, it would still be better than this total radio silence. But when she actually received this heartless message from me, it caused her pain as sharp as a knife. Xiao Jia squeezed her eyes shut, tears constantly falling from her lashes. Shenman, I truly know I was wrong. Why can't you soften your heart for me even just a little? You clearly used to love me so deeply. Since the day I dropped that bombshell on the school forum, I didn't even bother to keep up with news about her anymore. That day, taking advantage of the rain, I took a nap. Just as I woke up, I received a message from Zhang Yueyao. The two of us had only met exactly once. I really didn't expect her to proactively remember me like that. Opening the chat box, Shenman, want to go out and play? I'm hosting a party at a manor. The scenery there is beautiful. Are you interested? I had just opened the chat window when Zhang Yueyao on the other side saw the online notification. Her messages hurriedly followed, come on, just come. They're all people with pretty good personalities in the circle. I absolutely won't let them ruin your fun. Seeing that, I thought for a moment, then deleted the not going draft since she had considered things to this extent. And I happened to have nothing to do. Going out for a trip wasn't out of the question. Immediately after, I told her to give me the time and location. Seeing that, I agreed. Zhang Yueyao was overjoyed, setting off in 1 hour. That place is private property. Outside cars aren't allowed in. I'll pick you up, okay? Of course, if you're not comfortable, I can also wait for you at the end of the street. Since I already agreed to go out, I didn't mind revealing my address. With the Luo family's status in Hong Kong, if they really wanted to find it, they could. So I sent the live location straight over. An hour passed very quickly. I had just woken up when I received a photo sent by Zhang Yueyao. She messaged that she was downstairs. After reporting my schedule to sister Shen Qingyue, I took the elevator down. When I stepped out of the hotel, Zhang Yueyao recognized me immediately. At first, she leaned out of the car window. Then realizing it wasn't right, she ducked back inside. I opened the car door. Actually, even if Zhang Yueyao didn't wave, I still would have seen her. That white Rolls Royce was truly too eye-catching. I hurried toward the car. I was debating whether to sit in the front or back. Zhang Yueyao opened the back door directly for me. The front seat is reserved by a certain ancestor, so you'll have to settle for the back seat. Sorry about that. I nodded thanks and prepared to board. But a pair of hands suddenly appeared in my sight. I looked up. My eyes and the person in the car accidentally met. Meeting again. I was still stunned by Guing Han's beauty. This woman is truly too perfect. Do you need me to give you a hand? Hearing these words, I didn't quite understand what she was thinking. Looking at her hand, then at her face. Finally, I naturally placed my hand on her arm. After getting settled, I began to buckle my seatbelt, while Guing Han stared intently at the spot I had just touched, feeling that my hand was very warm. Furthermore, when my hand touched her, she felt her heart itch unusually. Her whole body even trembled slightly. Guing Han felt she was being very strange. As if her whole body was about to catch fire, she pursed her lips, feeling the heat rising in her earlobes. She hurried to turn her head toward the window, trying to hide her embarrassment. Zhang Yueyao took in the whole scene in the back, secretly chuckling before humming a tune and starting the car. On the way, I gripped the seatbelt tightly, feeling a bit nervous. Guing Han had calmed down by now, sharply noticing my movements. She furrowed her brows and thought for a moment, then raised her foot to tap the back of the front seat. Drive a bit slower. Shenman, are you feeling unwell? Oh, I get carsick. It's okay, no big deal. I get carsick, but I don't vomit. Just a bit dizzy. Zhang Yueyao heard that and immediately slowed down even more. Noticing her action, I hurriedly stopped her. Just drive at your normal speed. Better to get it over with quickly. Zhang Yueyao was a bit doubtful, but seeing my firm gaze, she had to speed back up. A few minutes later, Guing Han suddenly told her to stop. Very quickly, someone was waiting by the roadside, handing over the handbag in their hand. Guing Han took it and opened it to check. After confirming it was what she needed, she took the items out and handed them to me. Honey, lemon grapefruit tea. Drink this, it'll make you feel less uncomfortable. I was stunned for a moment and pointed at myself. Is this for me? You're the only one on this car who needs it. Then I won't be polite. Thank you. I gave her a polite smile, then took the cup. Watching me tilt my head back, my Adam's apple moving, Guing Han was momentarily dazed by the sight. Wait until I finished drinking. Guing Han took a box of medicine out of the bag and handed it to me. Motion sickness pills. The seal was still intact. This time, I really felt a bit shy, so I silently recalled her name, tilting my head to look at her. Guing Han. Are you always this thoughtful and meticulous? Zhang Yueyao, sitting in the front seat, heard this and burst out laughing. Guing Han is thoughtful. This is truly the most ridiculous thing she's ever heard since growing up. But Guing Han, sitting in the back row, didn't have the mind to care. But she didn't answer my question. She only smiled and spoke up. There's still an hour's drive until we arrive. Take the medicine, so the rest of the trip will be less uncomfortable. I nodded and asked a question. Tilted my head to swallow the pill, then leaned back against the seat to rest. As for whether Guing Han was a thoughtful person, we're just passing acquaintances after all. To me, that really wasn't very important. Time passed bit by bit. My breathing gradually became steady. Following the vibration of the car, my head slowly tilted to one side. Just as I was about to hit the window glass, Guing Han instinctively leaned over and reached out. Her hand blocked the space between my head and the glass. In the next second, my forehead rested right in the palm of her hand. Looking down, she could see my face. Guing Han then realized how sudden her actions actually were. She unconsciously held her breath, fearing she might wake me from my deep sleep. But right at this moment, Guing Han suddenly felt that her heartbeat seemed like it no longer belonged to her. Thump by thump, each beat revealing completely her tense and flustered mood. When I opened my eyes, what caught my sight was Guing Han, with an extremely tense expression on her face. The distance between us was very close. So close that not only could Guing Han smell the scent on me, but I could also smell the sandalwood fragrance on her body. Her arm was right in front of my face. Where my forehead rested carried a lingering warmth. I shifted my body slightly, moving my head to the side, freeing Guing Han's arm. Guing Han withdrew her hand, her face flashing with panic. Sorry for disturbing your rest. I lightly shook my head, carefully observing every detail of her face. Then softly said, I also really like sandalwood. Among all the different perfumes, you could say I'm obsessed with the scent of sandalwood. That's also why I once gave Xiao Jia these perfumes with sandalwood ingredients. But unfortunately, Xiao Jia never used them. But the Guing Han standing before me right now has helped me reaffirm my aesthetic taste. A noble and cold woman. Suits his woody fragrance very well. Thinking for a moment, my eyes suddenly lit up. I have a bottle of perfume that suits you perfectly, but I don't have it with me. I'll have someone send it over another day. And give it to you then, alright? Hearing that Guing Han stared deep into my eyes. Only after a long while did she force her gaze away. Does Mr. Shen often give gifts to other people like this? Not at all, but Miss Gu's beauty and aura really suit it perfectly. That bottle of perfume was custom made by me. It's one of a kind in this world. Do you want it? Since Guing Han hadn't given a clear answer yet, I asked her once more. Time passed by second. Zhang Yueyao driving in the front. Could only feel that. The atmosphere in the car was indescribably flirtatious. But at this moment, she consciously stayed silent and didn't disturb us. A long while later, Guing Han finally suppressed the urge to smile, then nodded slightly. Then it's a deal. Having said that, I took out my phone to ask for her address. Yue? Yao drove for a while longer, then reminded the two of us that a certain ancestor had already arrived at Hualuo. Her car stopped at a three-way intersection, where two other cars were already parked. Seeing us, a young man ran over. Hey, Zhang Yueyao, you dared not to come pick me up. But when he clearly saw the person in the back seat, he suddenly stood up straight and formal, then hurriedly put on a flattering smile. Sister Qinghan, long time no see. Guing Han casually glanced at him, without saying a word. But that single glance made Xiaoyan shudder involuntarily. Since childhood, Xiaoyan feared neither heaven nor earth, even daring to go against his own old man. With just a few moves, only Guing Han could make him scared to his very marrow. If he knew Guing Han was coming to today's hangout, he definitely would have found an excuse to decline. Didn't they say before that Guing Han wasn't coming? Why did she suddenly show up? He shrunk his neck, wanting to hide behind someone else. But just as he took a step, he saw another person getting out of the car. After being introduced, he immediately greeted me, looking like quite a natural extrovert. Before saying more than a few words, he already started asking if my family has an older brother or an older sister. I blinked, about to answer. But right at this moment, a voice suddenly rang out from behind the two of us. What are you two talking about? This voice was so cold that hearing it gave me goosebumps all over, while Xiaoyan, the one who just winked at me, heard this voice and acted like someone was choking him. Said nothing, but why do you care so much about what I say? With that, he rolled his eyes, glanced at me once, then broke into a smile. Then she ran off, leaving me standing there all alone. Guing Han, standing not too far away, immediately called out to me. I looked toward the direction of the voice, seeing Guing Han leaning against the Rolls Royce. She beckoned me with her finger. Looking at her lip movements, she seemed to be telling me to come closer. I admit this scene is very pleasing to the eye. But what's with this feeling like she's calling a dog? I grumbled under my breath, then slowly lifted my feet and walked toward her. Guing Han stared intently at my moving lips, waiting for me to get close before asking what I just said. Hearing that, my expression immediately stiffened. I thought to myself, is Guing Han's hearing really that good? I don't think I even made a sound. From my confused expression, Guing Han easily guessed what I was thinking. I saw it. I didn't hear it. Only then did I snap out of it, turning around to find a spot next to Guing Han to lean against. I didn't say anything. If Guing Han heard what I was just thinking, and she actually took me for a dog, it'd be over. Would I even have any face left? Such obvious perfunctory words. Guing Han naturally picked up on them. After a moment, she switched the topic. Getting out to rest for a bit, do you feel better? I'm fine now. Don't really feel uncomfortable anymore. Actually, after the honey water and a nap, I already felt much better, and now, maybe it's because I'm walking around outside and getting to breathe some fresh air. So the motion sickness is completely gone. Hearing her say that, the smile on Guing Han's lips deepened. Eventually, both of us fell silent, just standing there together looking at the sky. A moment later, Xiaoyan in the distance started messing with others. He looked around, then decided to find Zhang Yueyao to tattle. When passing in front of me and Guing Han, he intentionally sped up a little bit. Seeing the vibrant energy of the youth, I instinctively cracked a smile. Guing Han, standing beside me, quickly noticed the smile on my face. Do you like personalities like Xiaoyan's? Guing Han could tell that from Zhang Yueyao to Xiaoyan, I basically had no resistance to people with such outgoing and lively personalities. How did you see through me so easily? Just by looking. Then your eyes are truly sharp. Don't you think people with their personality are very warm? Back when I first returned to the country, I felt completely out of place with everything. Even though I knew Chinese, my vocabulary and speaking speed were still far behind kids my own age. Because of my pride, I was very hesitant to speak up or talk in front of other people, fearing they would see right through my weakness. But there were always a few kids nearby who kept persistently inviting me to play, probably because they thought I looked good. So even though I rejected them time and again, they still persistently followed me. At first, when they realized I spoke slowly, they didn't laugh at me at all, but patiently waited for me to finish my sentences, and even practiced speaking speed with me. Over time, once I became familiar, I completely integrated into my surroundings, even though after graduation, we barely kept in touch. But since then, regarding people with personalities like theirs, I've always had a natural sense of familiarity. I was reminiscing about the past, while Guing Han, after hearing the word warm, started questioning her own heart. With a personality like hers, would Shen Man find her warm? The answer was no. Except for Zhang Yueyao's group in Hong Kong. Almost no one wasn't afraid of her. She was also definitely not the type of person who gave off a warm vibe. Not long after, the whole group set off again and arrived at the manor. After getting out, everyone minded their own business. Only I and Xiao Yan were free. He pulled me into a corner of the manor, then gave me a big thumbs up. Brother man, you're truly badass. Since I'm praising you to the high heavens, can you spill the beans a little? What's the deal between you and Sister Han? Why do you ask? Because you're the first guy to ever appear by Sister Han's side, who is actually liked by her. The first person, seriously, or what? With Guing Han's looks, there must be a ton of people chasing her, right? Surprising, isn't it? I'm just as surprised, brother man. Exactly what move did you use to rizz up Sister Han? He asked like that, clearly being dead certain that the relationship between me and Guing Han wasn't simple. In Xiao Yan's perception, Guing Han was a cold person, hard to approach and didn't give anyone face. Rich young masters like them all had to rely on their elders' reputation to even have a chance to appear before Guing Han. But I'm different. According to what he heard from Zhang Yueyao Guing Han regarding the party, she originally didn't intend to attend today. Even so, counting it all up, he and I have only met for the second time. Even now, when the whole group gathered, Guing Han even found an excuse to pull me into her car and acted as my driver. Never mind Xiao Yan. Even Zhang Yueyao's crew has never sat in a car personally driven by Guing Han. What are you talking about? Me raising her up. I was confused, turning my head to look at Guing Han not far away. Seemingly noticing my gaze, she also turned her head to look toward me. Our eyes met. I didn't dodge at all and just smiled at her. Then I directed my words towards Xiao Yan. Why would I have to rizz her up? Couldn't it be that she's the one trying to rizz me? Combined with the reactions of Zhang Yueyao's group, I'm not so slow that I wouldn't realize Guing Han is interested in me. Brother man, you're pretty confident, huh? Are you serious? Just kidding with you. Right now, I have no intention of being with your sister in that kind of relationship. Don't overthink it, seeing my calm reaction. Xiao Yan immediately got a bit worried. You totally could though. I asked just out of pure curiosity. I didn't mean anything else by it. I already have someone I like. It's the person who just came with me, I know. Don't be nervous. Seeing his worried expression, I quickly reassured him, while simultaneously thinking to myself, what exactly has Guing Han done to be able to scare people to this extent? Right at this moment, familiar footsteps echoed from behind. Xiao Yan's position happened to be where he could see who that person was. But in the next second, as his gaze swept over, he immediately hid behind my back. Brother man, Sister Han and Sister Yueyao are coming over. Seeing him so desperate that he wanted to shrink his whole body behind me, Zhang Yueyao felt a bit amused seeing their reaction. Xiao Yan stayed silent and said nothing. He just knew that as long as I was here, Guing Han wouldn't pay much attention to him. And sure enough, from the moment Guing Han stepped up until she stopped, her eyes were always fixed on me until all four of us fell into silence. Guing Han finally glanced at Xiao Yan. To Xiao Yan, that look was no different from a death sentence. He immediately bolted and vanished. Seeing that, I slightly curled my lips and looked at Guing Han. You scared Xiao Yan away? Now who's gonna stay and kill time with me? Cha Yueyao quickly chimed in, let Sister Qing Han keep you company. There's a swing right over there. Sister Qing Han loves sitting on swings. Why don't you two go over there and play? You two make yourselves at home. Oh, let me go check how the food prep is going. In the blink of an eye, the two of them had vanished without a trace. Guing Han wasn't in a hurry either. She just stood quietly beside me. Occasionally her gaze would sweep over me, but seeing me lost in thought while enjoying the scenery, she didn't speak up to disturb me. Half an hour later, it wasn't until Zhang Yueyao's group called us for dinner that I snapped out of it and walked toward them with Guing Han. The vegetables in the manor are all homegrown. Even the chickens, ducks, and geese were freshly slaughtered. The whole point was to enjoy the freshness. This group even specifically brought a chef, along with the whole team here. After finishing the meal, night had fallen. The others all had a silent understanding to leave me to Guing Han. So the convoy followed each other back into the city. The group then gradually dispersed, until finally only Guing Han's car was still rolling on the road. She gradually slowed down the speed like that, hoping this road could be just a little longer. Just a little bit longer. Eventually I couldn't hold out anymore, and dizzily closed my eyes. Only then did she speed up to head back to the hotel. Guing Han got out of the car again, taking a bag from the person waiting at the door, telling them to prepare a cup of hawthorn juice for me, but said half a cup is enough, fearing too much would upset my stomach. Alright, thanks for the concern, eldest Miss Gu. I'm heading up now. Text me when you get home so I know you're safe. After speaking, I waved and turned into the hotel. Not until my figure completely vanished from Sight did Guing Han turn back to her car and leave. A few days later, in a basement in Hong Kong, weak, raspy pleas for mercy rang out. The iron door at the basement entrance was pushed open. The person waiting there handed over a pair of prepared gloves. Hanji, everything we needed to ask has been cleared up. The things they captured have also been wiped clean. How much did they get? The assistant immediately handed over a phone. It's all photos of Mr. Shen's daily movements. The hotel where that gentleman is staying is quite secure, so these guys hadn't managed to infiltrate inside yet. Guing Han took the phone, flipping through the photos one by one, seeing my smiling face in the pictures. Her cheeks unconsciously flushed red. But thinking about how these photos were obtained by those people using dirty methods, Guing Han's expression instantly darkened. She hit delete on every single photo, wiping them clean to ensure no future trouble. Only then did she ask her assistant who was behind this. It's the young master of the Liu family, Liu Ruyan. The day Mr. Shen went to the bar, he happened to be there as well. Liu Ruyan has always been a simp for looks, and Mr. Shen's appearance is so outstanding, it's only natural he targeted Mr. Shen. Guing Han set off, walking toward the room at the end of the hallway, before finally firing back. It has nothing to do with Shenman's looks. He hired people to stalk and creep on Shenman, purely because he's a playboy. Entering the room, she personally interrogated the guys being dunked in the water. After confirming no information was missed, Guing Han took off her gloves and threw them on the ground. Without even bothering with the sounds of miserable screaming behind her, Guing Han turned and left. Send over everything they've done along with the evidence. Just leave the rest for the higher-ups to handle. Oh, right? Arrange a time for the old head of the Liu family to meet me. If he can't control his people, then I'll do it for him. The next day, I lay in bed struggling for a long time, but still couldn't manage to open my eyes at all. Not until Shen Qingyue called. Did I reluctantly get out of bed? Still sleeping. Back home, it must be noon by now. Yeah, I slept so well last night. I didn't want to get up at all. My people in Hong Kong noticed that someone has been stalking you lately. After receiving this news, I had people investigate their identification. But 2 days ago, those tailing you completely vanished. Just now my people got word that they've all been thrown behind bars. Hearing that, I snapped awake with wide eyes. It wasn't your people who did it. Of course it wasn't me. If it were me, why would I even be telling you? I frowned slightly at that, while pondering the truth. A few familiar figures flashed through my mind. After waiting a bit without hearing me speak, Shen Qingyue keenly sensed something. She asked directly, do you know who it was? I'm guessing. Guing Han and Zhang Yueyao know me. I just went out to eat with them a few days ago. But whether they had a hand in this, I'm not entirely sure. Why would they help you? Because she's from the Gu family in the capital. I thought for a moment and then blurted out a sentence, I'm not sure either. It's possible Guing Han wants to pursue me. But why Guing Han? And not Zhang Yueyao? After a weirdly long silence, Shen Qingyue seriously thought about this and felt it wasn't impossible. This time it was my turn to be silent. A moment later I finally spoke up. Maybe because Guing Han is prettier than Zhang Yueyao. The Gu family's connections are very complex. Not to mention, she's the current head of the Gu family. Normal people basically can't afford to offend her. Are you sure you want to involve yourself with her? And what about Xiao Jia? Have you really let her go? Shen Qingyue assumed that with my personality, I definitely wouldn't let go of Xiao Jia this quickly. If not, I wouldn't have needed to leave the capital for Hong Kong. The reason for doing so was just to escape, to hide until I completely let go of my feelings for Xiao Jia, so I wouldn't be swayed by her weakness and go back. But these things shouldn't be solved by using another person or another relationship to achieve that goal. Immediately understanding Shen Qingyue's thoughts, I rolled my eyes. Sis, I went through a breakup, not a funeral. Besides, Xiao Jia was the one who did me wrong. Why should I suffer over losing her, or even hurt an innocent person because of her? The education I received never taught me to pine over a lowly cheater, and never be able to forget. Leaving the capital, I purely just wanted to go out and have fun. If I must say it has something to do with Xiao Jia, it's because I don't want to give her a chance to linger. It makes me feel disgusted. Do you understand when I put it like that? Hearing these words, Shen Qingyue should have breathed a sigh of relief, because I wouldn't lie to them. But thinking about Guing Han approaching me, her anxiety began to rise again. After all, compared to Xiao Jia, Guing Han is truly way too dangerous. After comforting my overly anxious sister for a while, I finally used the excuse of being hungry to hang up the phone. Next, I opened my chat with Zhang Yueyao, asking her about the stalking incident. But it turns out she said she didn't know either. Then she called me directly. It wasn't me, but I suspect it might be Sister Han. Or even if it wasn't Sister Han, she could still help you investigate it clearly. Why don't you try asking her? The thing is, Sister Han might be a bit busy today and might not have time to reply to your text. I just happen to be heading over to see her. So how about I take you there directly? Does that sound reasonable? If Guing Han is that busy, would she really have time to see me? Thinking that I asked her straight out. Guing Han is so busy. Will she actually have time for me? Hearing that, Zhang Yueyao facepalmed, then awkwardly explained a bit. The hint couldn't have been more obvious. No matter how busy Sister Han is, she'll always have time to meet you. Do you want to go? Come on, just go. I pretended not to get it and said sure, but I don't know the way, so send me the address first. No need for all that trouble. I'll just pick you up. After saying that, she hung up. Half an hour later, Zhang Yueyao's car pulled into the Gu family ancestral estate. After parking, there was still a bit of a walk to get inside. Along the way, I caught that scent of sandalwood a few times. The two of us walked up to the villa, seeing an old man standing hunched at the door. Beside him was a woman kneeling. My gaze swept over the two of them, feeling a bit suspicious in my heart, but I had no intention of prying. Zhang Yueyao stopped in front of the old man. She gave a polite nod and called him Elder Liu. Is that you, Yueyao? Here to see Guing Han. Yes, I have some business with Sister Han, so this junior will take her leave and head in first. Elder Liu forced a smile. Zhang Yueyao gave a perfunctory reply, her gaze sweeping over Elder Liu's pale face, and the beads of sweat forming on his forehead. Elder Liu nodded slightly, glancing over, seeing me walking side by side with Zhang Yueyao. He was a bit surprised. Which family's young master is this? To have Zhang Yueyao bring him to see Guing Han, his status must be anything but simple. He was speculating about my identity, without noticing his niece kneeling beside him. When she saw my face, her expression suddenly became frozen. Now Liu Ruyan finally understood why Guing Han suddenly made things difficult for the Liu family. But didn't he and Guing Han only meet once? Could it be she's already set her sights on him? Or maybe Guing Han already claimed him? Great, I went and tried to fight Guing Han for a man, but I didn't even get to make a move yet. I only hired someone to take a few photos, just to check him out a bit. The more Liu Ruyan thought about it, the paler her face became. She quietly sucked in a breath of cold air, then reached out to tug on Elder Liu's sleeve. Grandpa, I think I know the reason Guing Han attacked our family. Wait for me a moment, I'll go head in and announce us. On the other side, Zhang Yueyao led me to the main lounge, then told me to wait a bit while she went to report. After entering the living room, she greeted the big shots, sitting there before walking over to Guing Han and whispering a reminder. Shen Man wants to see you. So I brought him here. He's right at the entrance. Is he here for the money? Originally not really, bothered by Zhang Yueyao's appearance. But upon hearing those words, Guing Han, who was looking down at documents, slowly raised her head. Her gaze pierced through the living room and stopped at the jade screen by the entrance. Then she handed the documents in her hand to her assistant. That's enough for today. Dismissed at the Gu residence. Guing Han's word is the only command, regardless of how the negotiations at this meeting were going, or if the issues were resolved or not. As long as Guing Han says dismissed, no one dares to linger for even a second. Everyone in the living room left one after another. I maintained a polite smile and stepped aside, but Guing Han's figure had already appeared, right before my eyes. At some point, she stopped about 2 paces away from me, suppressing the urge to step even closer. Mr. Shen, sorry for making you wait so long. I shook my head, sensing the gazes of the people around, constantly scrutinizing me. I calmly continued the conversation with Guing Han. I didn't wait long at all. I came because I have something to ask. Guing Han made a gesture inviting me in. I lifted my feet and walked forward, step by step, passing Guing Han to enter the living room. Seeing Guing Han actually give way to me, among the crowd preparing to leave, someone couldn't hide their curiosity and whispered, "Who exactly is this guy? Things that aren't your business. Don't ask too much about." I was just curious. Fine, let's go. The one who asked still wanted to argue, but when sharp gazes from the shadows focused directly on him, he only wanted to get out of there fast. The group at the entrance quickly cleared out. In the massive living room, only I remained. Guing Han and Zhang Yueyao were already seated nearby. Seeing Guing Han actually walking behind me, Zhang Yueyao glanced at her with a meaningful smile. After speaking, she let out a long yawn and stumbled outside. I'm still super sleepy, so I'm heading back to bed. Once Zhang Yueyao left, Guing Han turned and walked toward the door. On the other side, follow me. The living room is for receiving outsiders. I'll take you to the tea room. I only came to confirm one thing with you. No need for all that trouble. I plan to just clear things up and leave immediately. But it seems Guing Han has no intention of letting me leave so soon. Sure enough, right after that I heard Guing Han's excuse. It's no trouble at all. After all, I must host my VIP guest properly. We both waited in silence the whole way until the two of us crossed a small garden and entered the tea room nearby. Guing Han motioned for me to enter, then asked what kind of tea I wanted to drink. I replied with a whatever works, and sat down opposite Guing Han, watching her skillfully begin rinsing cups and brewing tea. I could tell instantly she's done this many times before. The blue and white porcelain teacup spun between her fingertips, creating another eye-catching scene. Seeing this, I wasn't in a hurry anymore. Just leaned my chin on my hand with interest, watching her leisurely finish brewing a pot of ginger tea, and then enjoying the final product. Seeing that I seemed to like it, Guing Han smiled. After I finished, she refilled it again. Did you need something from me? I want to ask about the people who were stalking me. Was it you who helped me take care of them? Of course, I'm only asking because among the people I know in Hong Kong, those close enough and with the actual power, are only you and Yue Yao. I already asked Zhang Yue Yao. She said it wasn't her. So I came here to ask you, when you came in earlier, did you see the person kneeling at the door? He was the one who hired people to stalk and take photos. Don't worry, I've already sent those guys to prison. Noticing that after I heard the words, secretly take photos, my expression became a bit strange. Guing Han added another sentence. All those photos of your daily movements, I've already wiped them all clean. There's no need to worry. First I spoke up to thank her, but I know, a simple thank you is still too light. So I also gave my promise. If you ever need anything I can help with, I'll definitely do whatever is within my power. Guing Han nodded, turned around and asked, have you had lunch yet? Not yet. Actually, I just woke up about an hour and a half ago. It just so happens a home-cooked meal was just finished. Let's go, Mr. Shen. These two words, Mr. Shen, seemed to be softly savored in her mouth, carrying a subtle, indescribable charm. I followed behind her, instinctively looking up, and lightly touching my burning ears. Actually, you can just call me by my name, or Xiao Man. That's what my family and friends call me. Hearing that, Guing Han's forward steps faltered before she came to a complete stop, staring at me intently without looking away. Immediately after Guing Han launched an attack, she softly called me Xiao Man, and I was completely unable to resist. That slightly infatuated tone of Guing Han's totally knocked me off my feet. Not until she walked further ahead did I lightly press down on my wildly beating heart. Arriving at the dining room, 4 or 5 dishes were already set. Throughout the entire meal, neither of us said a word, but one look at my expression was enough to tell. I was very satisfied with this meal. When Auntie Lee came to clear the plates, she specifically praised me. This kid sure has a good appetite. Thank you, Auntie Lee, it was delicious. It tastes just like my mom's cooking. Next time, just let Guing Han know in advance. Whatever dishes you like to eat, just have Guing Han tell me and I'll cook them for you. Auntie Lee, thank you so much. Shen Man obediently nodded and sweetly spoke his thanks. But after Auntie Lee left with a satisfied smile, Guing Han suddenly put Xiao Man on the spot. Have you thought about when next time will be? Hearing that, I looked up in surprise, meeting Guing Han's half-smiling expression. What's wrong? You're being so enthusiastic now. I'm just afraid of disappointing Auntie Lee. Whether Auntie Lee is disappointed or not doesn't depend on me, but depends on you. If CEO Gu invites me, then I'll come. Hearing this, Guing Han's eyes suddenly lit up. She tested the waters, then come every single day. I instinctively shook my head and politely declined, ignoring someone's disappointed expression. I wiped my mouth. I'm full. Thanks for the treat, CEO Gu. I'll take my leave now. Goodbye, CEO Gu. Guing Han said goodbye with her lips, but she naturally followed, wanting to drive me back. If you're busy, I can just grab a cab myself. She blocked my path shyly, leaning down a bit. Is that so? But I'm very willing to drive you. If I don't perform well and get rejected, I'll lose a lot of face. Hearing that, I smirked and gave her a thumbs up. CEO Gu is so thoughtful. Well then, good luck with that. All the way back, Guing Han kept thinking about that good luck. How should I try harder? What should I do to make Shen Man willing to come eat every day? Or even be a bit more greedy and want to be by my side every single second? When she returned to the ancestral villa, Gu saw Auntie Lee, who should have slept early, still sitting on the sofa. Auntie Lee, why haven't you gone to rest yet? Auntie Lee stood up and looked at Guing Han kindly. I was waiting for you. Is that boy today the one in your heart? Hearing this, Guing Han's gaze softened. She nodded. And does he like you back? Oh, with this personality of yours, no boy has liked you since you were little. Since you like him, Guing Han, you must treat him well. The day he comes for the proposal, remember to bring the heirloom your mom left for her son-in-law. Seeing Auntie Lee getting ahead of herself, Guing Han quickly interrupted her. I don't even know if he likes me yet. Auntie, it's way too early to talk about this. Once she said that, all of Auntie Lee's fantasies went up in smoke. She gave Guing Han a look full of disappointment. You really are useless. He only came to Hong Kong for a vacation. He might leave again before long. So what? If he doesn't take the lead, can't you be the one to do it? You have to work hard to pursue him. Once you've won him over, tell him to settle down in Hong Kong. It's not like what you're saying. Guing Han lightly massaged her forehead. Previously, Zhang Yueyao had said similar things. It seems everyone just assumes that, as long as we're together, he has to sacrifice his own life to stay in Hong Kong. But as far as I'm concerned, that's not fair at all. We aren't anyone's dependents, but free individuals, who can go wherever we want. First, Shen Man is a free man. He can stay wherever he wishes. So in the future, what if he doesn't want to stay in Hong Kong? Auntie Lee frowned a bit surprised. A Guing Han who was always so overbearing. Yet when facing matters concerning me, it's like she turned into a different person. Guing Han had almost zero hesitation. Then wherever he is, I will go there to find him. Then you better work hard to make him like you soon. Otherwise, even if you go looking for him, he might not even be willing to see you. Feelings never follow any logic. Once he's caught your eye, don't worry about who should chase whom. Just boldly pursue him, Guing Han replied. Meanwhile, I was thinking to myself, I just got out of a relationship. It's probably best not to pursue my dream guy too aggressively. Since the day Guing Han was born, this is the toughest problem she has ever faced. The next day, I carried the bag of packed snacks back to the hotel. Just as I arrived in front of the room, I saw my door wide open. Furthermore, several strangers were gathered outside the door. Men and women alike, but I didn't know any of them. Right then, a guy stepped out from the room. Hurry up and clean the inside thoroughly. My friend is almost here, but I didn't walk over. Instead, I called Shen Qingyue. There were too many people over there. I'm not stupid enough to charge in alone, to confront them. After receiving a definitive answer from Shen Qingyue, I hung up and prepared to leave. At that moment, a staff member came out of the room and spotted me with a single glance. That person exclaimed in delight, Mr. Shen, Ginto, you're back. As soon as those words left their mouth, those inside and out, every single gaze immediately locked onto me. The person who had just lifted a foot to leave. At this point, not only did I not stop, but I actually quickened my pace. But the opposition clearly had no intention of letting me go. The lackeys guarding the door quickly ran over, blocking my path. At the same time, the man inside slowly stepped out. After sizing me up from head to toe, he sneered, Why are you running, Wool? This young master wants to use this room too. Take your pile of trash and get lost. This room is the prime location of this hotel. Previously, Lynn Rokshan often used it to host guests. Not many people are capable of staying in this room long term, so usually it remains vacant. But to Lynn Rokshan's mind, it didn't matter if someone was staying there, just some small fry with a bit of cash, not even worthy of carrying his shoes in the city. Hearing that, I also let out a sneer. Looking at the watch on the guy's wrist, my smile became even more disdainful. So what's the point of you holding on to my pile of trash? He didn't expect me to speak so bluntly. Lynn Lokshan sneered, What are you talking about? I don't understand. You don't understand human speech. It's fine, I can explain it to you. The Patek Philippe perpetual calendar on your wrist is from the rare line reference 1518. A year ago at a high-end auction in France. It was sold for 350 million RMB, and the buyer was a merchant from China. That person's surname is Shen. At this point, even without knowing if my words were true or false, the moment Lin Rokshan heard the price of the watch, the first thought that flashed through his mind wasn't caution or fear, but pure greed. A value of 350 million RMB. So that's why I liked it at first sight. He raised his hand to look at the watch, his mind constantly calculating. Very quickly, he made a decision. I don't know what you're talking about, but this watch was mine to begin with. Throw this guy and his pile of trash out of here together. In Hong Kong, she's the one who decides, now that the watch is on her person. Then it belongs to Lynn Rokshan. No matter who comes asking, I secretly reach for the weapon hidden in my pocket, calculating a way to escape. However, before I could make a move, the elevator door behind us suddenly opened with a ding. Next, a tall woman, leading more than 10 bodyguards, stepped out quickly. I turned my head to look back, immediately recognizing her. I immediately recognized her as Lin Ruowei, the head of the Shen family's Hong Kong branch, and also Shen Qingyue's representative. In Hong Kong, Sister Ruowei, I'm over here. Seeing the boy who looked exactly like the photo, a guy handsome to the extreme, Lin Ruowei was once again stunned. She hurried over to my side. Without saying a word, she immediately checked me from head to toe. After making sure I wasn't hurt, only then could she feel relieved. Don't worry, I'm fine. I haven't even had the chance to fight yet. Just a little bit more. As for Lin Lokshan, ever since Lin Ruowei appeared, his gaze had been fixed tightly on her. But seeing the first thing Lin Ruowei did upon arriving was to check up on me. His face immediately darkened. Lin Ruowei, why are you here? What is your relationship with him? At this moment, hearing the voice, Lin Ruowei finally turned around. But she completely didn't expect the danger I faced would involve Lin Lokshan. Was this all you? So what if it was me? You're just a daughter abandoned by the Lin family, huh? Don't think your arrival can change anything. Lin Ruowei, let me tell you, whether it's you or this guy, with just one word from me, you'll both have to get lost in humiliation. Honestly, Lin Ruowei and Lin Lokshan haven't seen each other for a very long time. But no matter how long it's been, this half-brother of hers is still so stupid that it makes her face darken with frustration. So she walked up in front of Lin Lokshan, raised her hand before his terrified eyes, and swung down a heavy blow. Slapped Lin Lokshan's face, whipped to the side. The mark quickly swelled up and turned red. Lin Ruowei shook her hand, which was numb from using too much force. This slap is just a little interest collected in advance. Lin Luoxuan, not everyone is someone you can offend. After she finished speaking, Lin Luoxuan finally realized he had just been slapped. Seeing this, he clutched his face and screamed frantically. Who gave you the nerve to lay a hand on me? You're dead meat. However, Lin Ruowei only looked with disdain as Lin Luoxuan lunged toward her, only to be blocked by the bodyguard she brought. Sister Ruowei, maybe I'll have to trouble you to step aside a few paces. My voice suddenly interrupted the argument between the two. Lin Ruowei turned her head, only to see me holding up my phone to record. Lin Luoxuan also noticed my actions, instinctively hiding his hand behind his back. Fine. You don't need to hide it anymore. I've already recorded everything. Furthermore, every single one of your faces has been captured on video. After speaking, I looked down and sent the video to Shen Qingyue. Then I continued to speak. The valuables in my room aren't limited to just that. Watch. There are countless items of equivalent value. If one item is missing or damaged, you'll have to pay for it. Earlier, since I was outnumbered, I endured as much as I possibly could. But now, I walked past Lin Luoxuan into my room, even though I had mentally prepared myself. Seeing my belongings tossed all over the floor, and even the broken pieces of the jade bracelet, my heart tightened with pain. This was high-grade, imperial green glass jadeite. I continued to take out my phone to film a video, until I confirmed that only this bracelet was damaged. Only then did I feel slightly relieved. Immediately after, I looked at the person Lin Ruowei brought, Lin Luoxuan, who was blocking the door. You're the one who's about to be finished? Lin Ruowei's expression wasn't great either. She didn't expect Lin Luoxuan to be this stupid. Shenman, is there a lot of damage? Quite a bit. Probably a few 100 million RMB. Hearing that number, Lin Ruowei was so shocked her jaw dropped, while Lin Luoxuan froze for a moment before starting to scream. What kind of nonsense are you talking? How could you possibly carry so many priceless items around with you? Even though he said that, Lin Luoxuan felt extremely uneasy inside. Too bad this time I didn't even bother to look at him. I grabbed one and turned around to sit on the sofa in the room. We'll settle this once the police arrive. Do you want to make peace with me? What do you mean? You called the cops already. Hearing that, Lin Luoxuan tried to rush into the room, but was blocked by Lin Ruowei's bodyguards. Lin Ruowei, tell your people to move. You'd better stop acting like an idiot. Are you threatening me? Let me tell you something. In this city, it's not like just anyone. Calling the cops will actually do anything. You Shen guy, even if you were a dragon, you'd still have to crawl before me. Hearing that, I glanced at him indifferently and just replied with a yeah. He was about to say something else, but saw that I was answering the phone. I walked to the side, completely denying him a chance to speak. I tried saying hello, hearing my voice sounding normal. Guing Han on the other end of the line felt her hanging heart suddenly relax. The police should have arrived by now. I'm almost there too. Don't worry, I didn't care how Guing Han found out I was having trouble here. I only knew that after I got into trouble, she would come here immediately. Thinking of that, my mood improved significantly. You're almost here. Do you care about me that much? Of course. I only have one VIP guest like you. If I don't care about you, who else would I care about? Only me. Yes, only you. Guing Han was silent for a moment on the other end, then firmly replied, what about in the future? The future will be the same. Guing Han stopped her car in front of the hotel, looked up at the high-rise building before her, and took a deep breath. Only with you is it necessary to think about the future. I'm here, hearing those words. I shivered a bit from the cheesiness, then looked at the phone number on the screen, laughed out loud, then I'll wait for you. At the same time as Guing Han, at the door, Lin Luoxuan was shouting and cursing loudly. Lin Ruowei, why on earth are you helping him like this? What do you gain from making this into a big deal? Furthermore, by helping an outsider like this, aren't you afraid I'll tell Dad? Lin Ruowei remained expressionless and unmoved. Seeing this, Lin Luoxuan's face turned red with rage. He directly pulled out his phone and started threatening. I'm going to call Dad right now. This used to be the threat that scared Lin Ruowei most, but now she just stood guard in front of my room and ignored him. Very quickly, Lin Luoxuan got through to his father. My sister and some man are bullying me. On the other end of the line, the father Lin had a darkened expression. That rebellious girl. Tell her to answer the phone. Not a single word of concern. Just because Lin Luoxuan snitched, Father Lin immediately decided everything was the fault of Lin Ruowei. Hearing this, Lin Luoxuan smiled smugly at Lin Ruowei. After speaking, he turned on the speaker and handed the phone over. Dad wants you to answer the phone. Lin Ruowei looked at the phone in front of her with cold eyes. Even though she knew she was the one discarded by the Lin family, hearing Father Lin's voice at this moment still made her feel a bit uneasy deep down. Just as she was hesitating whether to reach out or not, my hand suddenly reached out. Old man, who are you? Hearing a strange voice, Father Lin frowned and impatiently commanded. And who the hell are you? Hurry up and give the phone to Lin Ruowei. On what grounds should I listen to you? Don't you understand human speech? You ask on what grounds? Who do you think you are? You dare stand before me and ask on what grounds? Who do I think I am? Well, then you're finished. From here on out, I will likely become the creditor of your Lin family. Hearing that Father Lin was stunned, suddenly having a very bad premonition, I had no intention of answering, so I directly hung up. Then I tossed the phone back to Lin Luoxuan. Seeing him fumble like that, I felt like mocking him. I smirked right as the elevator doors opened. And that was the exact look Guing Han saw on me. It was like something slammed hard into her heart. She stared blankly at me. Her mind went totally empty. She just instinctively walked toward me step by step, until I finally noticed her. At that moment, my smile widened. I even waved my hand at her. This gesture was like a master calling over a puppy. But strangely, Guing Han didn't mind it at all. Instead, she actually quickened her pace. Among everyone present, only I and Guing Han were smiling. While everyone else's faces turned pale, Guing Han didn't spare anyone else a glance. She walked straight to my side. How do you want this situation handled? Compensation and an apology. But you don't need to step in. I'll handle it myself. All right, I'll listen to you. This woman's gentle demeanor made Lin Ruowei doubt her own eyes. Not just her, even Lin Luoxuan, whose legs had turned to jelly and could barely stand. The moment Guing Han appeared, his eyes nearly popped out of his head. If he had known I was connected to Guing Han, even with 10,000 times more courage, he wouldn't have dared to touch me. Thinking this, Lin Luoxuan tremblingly took off the watch and tried to hand it back to me, hoping to smooth things over between us. Mr. Shen, here is your watch back. Regarding today's matter, could you please not hold a grudge against me? Not hold a grudge, that's going to be difficult. Maybe you folks in Hong Kong don't know me, but anyone who does knows I'm the most vengeful guy ever, I said as I took the watch from Lin Luoxuan's, hand holding it with 2 fingers in disgust and shaking it, before tossing it back into Lin Luoxuan's lap. Besides, once something's been dirtied, I don't want it anymore. Hearing these words, Lin Luoxuan's face turned white as a sheet. He intended to make an excuse, but when he saw Guing Han's cold gaze, he was too terrified to utter a single word. Very soon after the police arrived, I directly handed over the video on my phone to the officer in charge there, after they finished examining the scene and extracting the hotel's surveillance footage. The officer finally ordered Mr. Lin Ruowei, please come with us along with your people. Lin Luoxuan's face was as pale as a ghost. Holding his phone, he hesitated for a long time before finally calling Father Lin, after cooperating with the police and finishing the statement. Lin Ruowei and I left together. Lin Ruowei didn't stand on ceremony. Smiling as she said, Mr. Shen, you're just like my brother. Just call me Shenman. Shenman, where do you want to stay next? A place like a hotel, you could say it's safe, but you could also say it's not safe at all. As long as someone has a bit of status, they always find a way to interfere. Sister, is the house you mentioned ready for me yet? It's all cleaned up. Then I'll move in right away. Saying that, I turned to look at Guing Han. Are you busy with anything next? However, it wasn't that Guing Han had nothing to do. She just felt the most important thing right now was helping me settle in. He didn't stay by my side. On the contrary, it was Lin Ruowei, who had ditched her partners to rush over here. Now seeing Guing Han by my side, she was no longer worried. After saying goodbye, she hurriedly left again. After Lin Ruowei had gone, Guing Han suddenly spoke up. Lin Ruowei is currently working for the wrong Tian group. I nodded. I know, seeing that I had no intention of explaining further. Guing Han didn't bring it up again, but turned and pointed at the car. Let's go, I'll help you move your stuff. You're going to do it personally. Is there a problem? You're the high and mighty CEO Gu after all. Having you help me move is a bit of a waste of talent. 2 hours later at Prosperity Heights. This is the largest and most luxurious villa area in Hong Kong, as I followed the house number Lin Ruowei sent me to find the place. Guing Han suddenly froze for a moment. After I noticed, I casually asked, what's wrong? If I told you the house next door was mine, would you believe me? Such a coincidence. Then I'll have to rely on my new neighbor for help. New neighbor, I said, reaching my hand out toward Guing Han. Guing Han reacted very quickly. She immediately responded, I'll also need Mr. Shen's help as well. When she let go of my hand, she lightly brushed against my palm. On the other side, Lin Luoxuan couldn't believe that. Even though Father Lin used his high-level connections, he still couldn't get out. Furthermore, after the lawyer learned the root of the matter, he concluded the only solution was a private settlement, but the prerequisite was my personal consent. After I rejected multiple meeting requests from the Lin families, lawyers 3 days later, I received a call from my own lawyer. By the time I arrived, the group in the room had been waiting until they were completely out of patience. Father Lin sat motionless in his chair, vẻ mặt đầy khinh khỉnh, without waiting for me to sit. Speak. How much money will it take to let my son go? Hearing that, I first walked to the head seat in the middle and sat down, then leisurely finished a cup of tea before replying. 1 billion? Mister, that price you're asking is a bit too much. I leaned back, took a stack of photos from my lawyer's hand, and tossed them in front of Father Lin. It's just that your son went too far. You can't even cough up 1 billion? Then why pretend to be a big shot in front of me? Do you even know how much that watch your son stole is worth? Do you know how much that jade bracelet he broke cost? Do you know the value of the items I lost? 1 billion is the price I have lowered as much as possible, out of respect for you being Lin Luoxuan's biological father. It's not that Father Lin hadn't seen these photos before, but previously he didn't care. Now he couldn't help but pick up the appraisal report on the table to examine it. But the more he looked, the worse his expression became. Finally, Father Lin even crushed that appraisal report until it was completely deformed. Then he recalled what Lin Luoxuan had said and began to argue. There's no way the items you lost are that many. My son only took one watch from you. The only thing broken was the jade bracelet. Who said that? They're my things. If I say how much is lost, then that's it. You should know that those items of mine all have entry records at the airport. Now that they can't be found, I can naturally only blame Mr. Lin here for illegal trespassing. Of course, as long as Mr. Lin has evidence to prove he didn't take them. I'll just consider myself unlucky. But Father Lin knows. Lin Luoxuan cannot prove it. The fact that he broke in is true. The fact that he rummaged through, damaged, and even stole my belongings is also true. But even if he could produce this 1 billion, he wouldn't waste it on Lin Luoxuan. After a few deep breaths, Father Lin finally flashed a flattering smile. Why don't you tell me, Mr. Shen, how you want to handle this matter? Lin Ruowei is your daughter. Hearing this, Father Lin's heart skipped a beat. That's right. I heard you and that girl have a pretty good relationship. Very good, in fact. I really like Sister Ruowei. Father Lin immediately breathed a sigh of relief. He rubbed his face and started acting friendly. Since we're all family now, maybe Mr. Shen could do it for Ruowei's sake and let Luoxuan go as soon as he said that. No one expected that I would actually nod in agreement. Even Father Lin stood there with his mouth agape in disbelief. But in the next second, I tapped on the table and began to add, out of respect for Sister Ruowei, if you just hand over the shares that her mother left behind for her to Sister Ruowei, then the amount will be cut in half. I'll drop the lawsuit and spare your precious son. No way, that's 10% of the Lin Group's shares. Old man, I think you've misunderstood something. I'm not negotiating with you. I'm notifying you. Either you settle according to my demands, or let Lin Luoxuan rot in prison for me. Of course, I knew Lin Luoxuan didn't have enough weight, so I wonder, what if we add all the collaborations between Rongtian and the Lin family? How about that? These words were like a heavy blow to Father Lin's head. He staggered for a long while before regaining his senses. What exactly do you mean by that? When you forced Sister Ruowei to cooperate, you probably didn't see this day coming, did you? Currently, half of the Lin family's projects are funded by Rongtian. Have you thought about what happens if Rongtian withdraws? The resources the Lin family has poured in so far will all go up in smoke. I think you must have thought about it. It's just that you didn't believe Sister Ruowei would ever treat the Lin family this way. After all, the Lin group was her mother's life's work. Furthermore, in your eyes, Ruowei is nothing more than a woman working for Rongtian. She doesn't represent Rongtian, no matter how capable she is. What could she possibly achieve? After all, these projects are actually making money for Rongtian. How could Rongtian possibly pursue this? Actually, you didn't guess entirely wrong. Sister Ruowei indeed wouldn't touch her mother's legacy. But I'm different. What the hell does the Lin family have to do with me? At most, after the Lin family collapses, Rongtian can just support a different Lin family. After all, Lin Ruowei's last name is also Lin. I didn't even glance at the fuming Father Lin. Stood up and calmly refilled my teacup. Who the hell are you, really? I told you a long time ago. I'm the biggest creditor of your Lin family. Aren't you afraid that my Lin family will drag your Rongtian down with us? Hearing this, I immediately burst out laughing. Why should I be afraid? Rongtian playing around with the Lin family, like you, is at most like losing a single finger? Do you really think I'd care? Actually, Father Lin understood this logic without me saying it, before he forced Lin Ruowei to cooperate with the Lin family, gambling that Rongtian being thousands of miles away. As long as the issues in the partnership weren't huge, Rongtian wouldn't pay attention to this place. But he never expected me to show up, let alone that I'd step up to protect Lin Ruowei. Thinking of this, he almost fell right off his chair. A moment later, Father Lin braced himself against the table. He thought he could give up on Lin Luoxuan, but he absolutely could not give up on the Lin family. So he obediently bowed his head. When I get back, I'll have Ruowei come over to sign the share transfer contract. I just hope you'll show some mercy and spare Luoxuan and the Lin family, one thing at a time. Don't you dare be short on my compensation. Father Lin nearly coughed up blood, but could only force a smile and nod. After waving goodbye, I watched the figure of Father Lin turn around and walk away stiffly. Finally, I smirked and pulled out my phone. Hello, sis. The matter is settled. On the other end of the line, Shen Qingyue gave a faint hum of approval. I was about to hang up when I suddenly remembered something and asked her, Sis, you care about Sister Ruowei so much. Are you hiding something from me? After waiting a long time without a reply from Shen Qingyue, I called out sis again. The next thing I knew, my big sister started stammering excuses, which made me even more sure that there's something between those two. Listening to the dial tone after she hurriedly hung up, I curled my lip and stood up, preparing to leave the private room. However, as I reached the door, I saw someone I totally didn't expect. Before I could even avoid them, the other person walked straight up to me. Shenman, it really is you. I can't believe you're actually in Hong Kong. Xiao Jia has been looking everywhere for you. Luonan patted my shoulder familiarly. First I blocked his hand, then I pushed him away. I've got things to do, I'm leaving. Wait, Shenman. Even if you and Xiao Jia had a falling out, we're still friends, right? Hearing that, I looked deep into his eyes. Friends. So just now when you alerted Xiao Jia and leaked my location, was that also because we're friends? Don't think I didn't see you. He was just typing away on his phone back there, even using my toes. I could figure out who he was messaging. Shenman, you've got it all wrong. I just thought that between you and Xiao Jia there might be some misunderstanding. I just wanted you two to clear things out. Besides, it's not like I'm picking on you. But in our social circle, who is truly 100% clean, Xiao Jia stayed loyal and pure for you for all these years. She's already done more than enough. And look, to put it another way, nothing actually happened between her and Lu Li. Why did you have to play the vanishing act? Do you even know how much she's been worrying about you lately? She's so thin now that I can't even bear to look at her. Luonan's speech became more and more impassioned. Hearing this, I let out a cold laugh. Are you Xiao Jia's father or something? Is that why you're speaking up for her like this? Should she wait until you're a vegetable so she can kneel by your bed and empty your bedpans? For you, hey, why do you have to be so rude? You think you're so pleasant to listen to? At least I'm speaking facts. But as soon as you open your mouth, it stinks like a fart, making people want to puke. And saying everyone in this circle isn't clean? That's your circle, not mine. You guys are filthy yourselves, and you want others to be just like you. Trash belongs in the dumpster. Stay far away from a noble person like me. Don't you dare come any closer. After saying that, I turned and left. Behind me, Luonan was so pissed his eyes bulged. One of his hands pointed at my retreating back. A string of curses wanting to burst out, but I didn't give him the chance at all. Finally, he took a deep breath and continued sending messages to Xiao Jia. On one side, Luonan maliciously leaked my whereabouts, while on the other, the person ordered to ensure my safety, Zhang Yueyao, was absolutely loving it. She looked incredibly excited, cutting the audio clip from the hallway surveillance camera and sending it into the group chat. Then she spammed a bunch of thumbs up emojis. I, Zhang Yueyao, have never admired anyone in my life, but I'm floored by Shenman's savage mouth. The result was that less than a minute after sending it, Xiaoyan was sharp enough to catch the character mentioned in the recording. Seeing this, Zhang Yueyao's face instantly stiffened. Then she hurriedly typed, "Quick, unsend it." Xiaoyan didn't understand why, but he immediately unsent the message anyway. Just as she opened the group messages, Guing Han froze when she saw the scene. I saw it. This time, Zhang Yueyao had to give up on unsending the file, laughing it off to cover up. At this moment, Xiaoyan also realized he messed up, so he hurried to salvage it. Yeah, exactly, sis. With Shenman's personality, how could he ever suffer in silence? But as the group messages kept popping up, Guing Han didn't say another word. Zhang Yueyao felt something was wrong. She directly clicked on Guing Han's profile picture to send a private message. But after typing away for ages, Guing Han still didn't reply. The woman sitting in the surveillance room, her face darkened completely, wishing she could just slap herself right then. I really couldn't keep my hands still. Why did I have to send that recording about Shenman into the group? At this moment, Zhang Yueyao was drowning in regret, while Guing Han back in her office clicked open the file. Hearing the name I kept mentioning, her entire aura became incredibly somber. Guing Han softly repeated the name, her fingers incessantly tapping on the desk. She felt this person sounded somewhat familiar. Besides, what bothered Guing Han the most was this person's identity. That was my ex-girlfriend. But even if it was just an ex, it still made her feel extremely uneasy. However, what made Guing Han even more upset was she didn't even have the right to be jealous of this person from the past. She clicked on my profile picture, staring at the chat box for a long time. Finally, she let out a sigh. The big tasks are all finished, and you still haven't asked for my help, she muttered to herself. As a result, in the next second, she saw in our private chat a line of text pop up. You nudged Shenman's smart head. Nudge power increased by 1. She looked at this message, fumbling in a panic to try and unsend it. But my message had already arrived. Now, even if nothing was wrong, it was a thing. Guing Han let out a soft breath. Shenman, are you finished with your work? Having no other excuse, Guing Han could only use formalities as a shield. I looked at the message, intentionally teasing her. She was very direct. I could imagine Guing Han's serious face while she said those words. Immediately after, I checked the time and typed back. So what's up? Just how much do you want to see me? Guing Han didn't respond for a while. She wore a solemn expression, deeply contemplating this question. Even when her assistant knocked for a long time, she didn't notice until she snapped back to reality. She finally spoke and told the person to enter. The assistant pushed the door open and stepped in. Just as she was about to report the remaining schedule, she was interrupted by Guing Han. Right now, I want to ask you something. She sat up straight with an unprecedentedly serious face, making the assistant jump in surprise, thinking something earth-shattering had happened. After rearranging her words in her head, Guing Han continued to speak. Suppose I'm just saying, suppose, okay. Suppose you told someone you liked that you wanted to see them, and then that person asked back just how much you wanted to. How should you answer at a time like this? CEO Gu, it's Mr. Shen asking you, isn't it? I thought it was something huge. Why so serious? I didn't see that coming. Our CEO Gu actually knows how to say she wants to see someone. Just say it already, stop talking nonsense. Yes, CEO Gu. I see Mr. Shen, wait, I didn't say it was Shen Man. After a moment of silence, Guing Han simply gave up. Keep talking. The assistant coughed lightly, barely holding back a burst of laughter, and seriously began to analyze. Based on my extensive experience in the dating scene, I think Mr. Shen asking you this question is clearly because he knows you're too shy to answer. He's just teasing you. Hearing this, Guing Han curled her lips, feeling a bit disappointed immediately. She thought I was testing her feelings. So it was just a joke after all. In my estimation, that's highly likely. But if you really have doubts, CEO Gu, why not just ask Mr. Shen directly? Between lovers, the biggest taboo is second-guessing each other. If there's a problem, just be direct. Bring up the issue. If you can talk it out, continue. If not, just go your separate ways. That way, there will be no regrets. The assistant just mentioned that last part in passing, but Guing Han took it to heart. She was lost in thought. So much so, she didn't even notice the assistant leave. On the other side at first, I waited forever for a message from Guing Han. I was a bit puzzled. Wait until I got home and checked my phone. Before I saw the message Guing Han sent, miss you so much. 4 very simple words. I typed while climbing onto the sofa. Sitting cross-legged, intentionally teasing, thought about it that long. Just to send me these 4 words. I'm totally losing out here. Seeing those last few words, Guing Han went into the parking garage thinking while driving, whether her words had some other meaning. A moment later she replied, then I'll make it up to you. Seeing those words, I felt a sudden stir of emotion, but I didn't take it too seriously. After putting the phone down, I headed into the bathroom to start showering. A few minutes later, I grabbed my phone to go downstairs for food. But right then, Guing Han suddenly called. I'm right outside your door. I grabbed the phone and rushed downstairs. Opening the door, I saw her standing there. She looked like she had just come straight from the office. Her face slightly flushed, still breathing a bit heavily. Seeing me staring, Guing Han instinctively took a step forward. I bought some Hong Kong specialty snacks. Consider it making it up to you. Let me see what's here. Let me in first, won't you? The wind is pretty strong outside. As soon as she finished, I leaned aside to make way. There are only disposable slippers in the house. Just use them for now. As I spoke, I took a pair of disposable slippers down from the top cabinet. Seeing I wasn't annoyed by her sudden appearance, she immediately felt as if a weight had been lifted. This egg waffle shop is a long-standing brand in Hong Kong. Sweet but not greasy, crispy and soft. Give it a try. There's also roast duck and these fried snacks. Just as well I haven't eaten anything yet. Thanks a lot. As we went to the dining table to start eating, I suddenly stopped her. Wait a sec. Do you drink what? Fruit wine I brought from Jin City. However, her attention was no longer on the wine, but on that specific place name. This was the first time I mentioned where I came from. Guing Han's eyes instantly lit up. She thought that me mentioning Jin City meant I was finally opening up to her. Guing Han got more excited the more she thought about it. But on the outside, she kept her cool perfectly. Soon I sat down at the table, holding a tightly sealed jar of wine. Back when I went to the countryside for fun, I learned how to brew this mulberry wine from an old lady. It's delicious. You're in luck today. After speaking, I skillfully pulled the cork out. Immediately, a rich wine aroma wafted into the air. When I filled a glass and handed it to her, she hesitated for a moment. Drink. Before at home, my family always watched me. I was only allowed 1 small glass each time. Now's your chance. Have a drink with me. No, it's not that I'm just worried you'll get drunk. Guing Han's alcohol tolerance was actually great, so she wasn't worried about herself. It's just that she's a good judge of people, and she could tell my tolerance was definitely trash. I swore up and down to reassure her, then took the lead by raising my glass. It's fine, I won't get drunk. Guing Han had no choice but to indulge me raising her glass, to eat and drink with me, eating and drinking together. An hour passed by. The 3rd glass in my hand hit rock bottom, seeing me starting to get restless. Reaching my hand toward the wine jar, Shen Man. Don't drink anymore, you'll get wasted. With a bright red face, I insisted again. What are you mumbling about? How could I possibly be drunk? I get more sober the more I drink. After saying that, I grabbed Guing Han's hand, which was blocking me, and started applying force. Why won't it move? I'm clearly using a lot of strength. Hey, this hand looks pretty nice. I stared at it for a while, then suddenly extended my index finger, gently placing it on the back of Guing Han's hand. Then under her astonished gaze, I stroked along her fingertips. She softly asked, Shen Man, are you drunk? She planned to pull her hand back while I wasn't looking, but I have sharp eyes. I reached out and grabbed it instantly, then impatiently glared at her. Don't move. Let me see. Hearing that, Guing Han took a deep breath, feeling a throbbing pain in her temples. Fine, no need to ask anymore. This guy's definitely wasted. Didn't he say he had a high tolerance? It's only been 3 glasses. Thinking this, she sighed and tried to pull her hand back, but found she couldn't budge it. Clearly, a drunkard like me was still on guard against her. I giggled and pulled Guing Han's hand close to my cheek, then lowered my head to nuzzle her hand. Guing Han. I liked this look on Guing Han. When she saw me, her breathing suddenly became rapid. She let my face touch her hand, while she lowered her head and quietly sipped her wine. Not long after, I suddenly spoke up to command switch hands. The last hand got too hot. I don't like it. Guing Han obediently offered her other hand. I meticulously felt and squeezed it. After confirming this was also something I liked, Guing Han remained silent, not saying a word. As soon as those words were out, the person who was trying so hard to stay calm suddenly had her cheeks flush bright red. She let out a sharp breath, watching me bow my head to play with her hand, suddenly feeling a bit lucky that my attention wasn't focused on her body. But in the very next second, the gaze lingering on her hand shifted away, staring at her without even blinking. Guing Han, your face is so red. You must be drunk. Hearing that, Guing Han instinctively covered her face with her other hand. Shaman, do you really want to see? See who's actually the drunk one? My eyes lit up. What did you say? See, there's actually such a good deal. I stood up abruptly, right before Guing Han's startled eyes. The next second, I was standing right in front of her. At this moment, Guing Han initially tensed up and held her breath. But seeing my hazy dazed gaze, she silently loosened her self-restraint, taking in the scent on my body. Just 1 more inch forward, and I could touch the tip of her nose. There was a moment she wanted to lean in closer. Luckily, she regained her sanity just in time. However, I became even more bold, fumbling around her body, finally touching her earlobe. The very second I touched it, Guing Han almost lost control. She grit her teeth and tilted her head to avoid my breath, awkwardly coaxing Shenman, stop playing around. I didn't hear anything at all. You heard me. I didn't. I pretended to look at her fiercely. Just when Guing Han thought I was about to get angry, she saw my gaze start to follow the tip of her nose to her lips and then continue moving further down. Finally, my eyes locked onto that spot. Guing Han was startled by my gaze. She stood up abruptly, with the fastest speed she's ever had. Shenman, don't do anything reckless. I looked bewildered and scratched my head. What are you afraid of? I'm not afraid. I'm not even trying to take advantage of you. Besides, didn't you just tell me to look? When did I ever say that? Halfway through the sentence, Guing Han suddenly realized she really did mention the word see. You misheard. That's not what I meant. But as soon as she finished speaking, my expression became full of grievance. Guing Han couldn't bear to see me like this, seeing me almost unable to stand steady. She was so scared her heart skipped a beat. She compromised and walked up to me. Go ahead and touch. But there are some places you can't touch, okay? It's my own fault. Why am I trying to reason with a drunk person? Seeing her soften, I proudly patted Guing Han's shoulder. Guing Han, I want to go to sleep. Hearing this, Guing Han froze in place. Go to sleep. How do you want to sleep? Wash my face, brush my teeth, then lie on the bed and close my eyes. That's how you sleep. A moment later, Guing Han followed me upstairs, straight into the guest bedroom. Once she entered, she saw me holding a brand new toothbrush, smiling at her. After that, I found a face towel and a bath towel, stuffed them into her hands, then left satisfied. Guing Han, clutching a pile of unopened items, didn't know how to describe her feelings for a moment. Thinking about this, Guing Han suddenly felt that perhaps in this lifetime, she would be completely wrapped around my finger. My voice called out from outside again. She hurried out, seeing me already with toothpaste in my mouth, brushing away. I tilted my head to say goodnight to her. What do you mean good night? A few minutes later, Guing Han stood by the bed, watching me already fast asleep under the covers. She reached out to turn off the light and left the room. But Guing Han didn't go back to her own home. Instead, she stayed in the guest room next to mine. She didn't close either of our bedroom doors. She knew that for someone who's drunk, there's a risk of vomiting and choking during the night. She was worried about me. Luckily, I slept soundly until the next morning. She placed the porridge and hangover soup she ordered on the table, left a note for me, and then headed to the company. It wasn't until noon that thirst woke me up. I had to go downstairs to get water from the kitchen. Then I noticed 2 thermos flasks on the table. I wondered what they were. Approaching them, I took a closer look. After confirming it wasn't a bomb, I finally opened the lid, finding some incredibly fragrant porridge inside. Instinctively, I looked around. I remembered eating with Guing Han last night. And then what happened? As I tried my best to recall, scenes from last night began to flash vividly in my mind. But as I realized how I had taken advantage of Guing Han last night, I froze right there on the spot. Was that really me, that person who used her and acted so bossy? Was that actually me? I threw myself onto the sofa, letting my body collapse onto the cushions. I felt like I was totally cooked. My hidden desire for Guing Han had reached such a level that even my subconscious was making moves for me. How can I even face Guing Han? After this, should I just pretend I don't remember anything? Would Guing Han even believe me? While I was hesitating, the doorbell suddenly rang. I dragged my lifeless body off the sofa and staggered to open the door. A few seconds later, seeing that the person at the door was Guing Han, my brain couldn't even process it before. I immediately slammed the door shut. By the time I realized what I had just done, my face turned pale as ash. This reaction of mine clearly showed that I still remembered everything that happened yesterday. Through the door, I could hear her laughing outside. I took a deep breath, accepted my fate, and opened the door again. I know I went too far last night. Just scold me. I bowed and apologized to her, then closed my eyes, waiting for a beating or a lecture. But the slap I imagined never came. Instead, a warm hand gently patted my head. Seeing me open my eyes in shock, Guing Han's lips curled up as she asked back, "Where exactly did you go too far? Besides, how do you know I wasn't willing?" Before I could even snap out of it, Guing Han's face zoomed in right in front of mine. "Shenman, do you know when you were this close to me last night, what I wanted to do?" I don't know why, but after Guing Han asked that, my gaze uncontrollably drifted down to her lips. What Guing Han wanted to do I didn't know, but I knew exactly what I wanted to do. As if sensing my thoughts, she lowered her heels back to the ground. Passing by me, she left behind a single sentence: "My thoughts are exactly the same as yours." Hearing that, I was full of questions and hurriedly chased after her. "What thoughts do I have? What thoughts do you have?" Wait, how could she know what I was just thinking? Unfortunately, Guing Han didn't answer my question. Her gaze fell upon the table, where the hangover tea and porridge remained untouched. "Did you just wake up?" I intended to demand an explanation, but on second thought, it would make me look like I cared way too much. So I held it in and gave a cold "yeah," watching Guing Han habitually walk into the kitchen to grab bowls and chopsticks, serving the porridge and hangover tea separately. I suddenly felt the person in front of me was too skilled at these tasks. Instantly, I thought back to the clean dining table. When I first woke up, I felt a pang of guilt. Last night? Don't tell me you cleaned the dining room too. That's right, I just did it while I was at it. Hold up. This person is being way too thorough in her actions and thoughts. She's not chasing me. It feels more like she's raising a son. Seeing Guing Han pull out a chair, I walked over and sat down, taking a sip of the smooth yam porridge. The person who had just taken out her phone glanced at me upon hearing that. "Aren't you eating?" "I already ate at the company cafeteria." "So you already ate? Why did you even come over?" But halfway through the sentence, I immediately realized and shut my mouth just in time. However, Guing Han wasn't about to let such a good opportunity slip. "I just came to see if our young master Shen had woken up yet. It's just that I haven't had much to do lately, so I've been a bit lazy. It's not like I sleep until noon every day." Watching my movements, Guing Han couldn't help but let out a soft laugh. She felt that even if I did nothing at all, just seeing me was enough to make her mood uncontrollably better. Because Guing Han laughed so loudly, I gave her a dissatisfied glare, then speed ate to finish the meal. But just as I finished, I saw Guing Han about to stand up and clean. "Hey, don't. I'm really not a useless person. Let me do it. Letting a guest do housework is just wrong." Saying that, I carried the thermos and bowl to the kitchen, rolled up my sleeves, and started washing. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Guing Han had followed me in at some point, standing at the kitchen door staring straight at me. I suddenly felt a bit embarrassed. "You don't believe I know how to do chores?" "It's not that." "Then why are you staring at me like that?" "Just worried you'd be bored." "So that's it. When did our President Gu switch careers to become a soulmate? Does it pay well?" Guing Han didn't get angry. She even played along with a thoughtful expression. Seeing me put the bowl back in the sterilizer and turn to grab the thermos, she finally replied, "It doesn't necessarily pay that much." After saying that, she handed me a tissue. "The main thing is being able to make the client happy. Right, Mr. Shen?" I wiped the water off my hands, acting like I was playing it cool. "I think it's just average." "Average? How is it average?" "Mr. Shen, why don't you tell me how it's average?" The person in front of me had a total baddie physique. My eyes lit up. Once I snapped out of it, I quickly faked my composure. "You're too fierce. In this line of work, you should be more like this and that." "What do you mean by like this and that?" "Why don't I understand?"